"They're not coming. They're already here." That's all the email said. No subject, no name, and the email account was clearly a junk or a throwaway account linked to AOL Mail. At first, I laughed at the ridiculously serious message, not paying attention in much thought. I used to sign up for all sorts of stupid conspiracy UFO magazines and online subscriptions when I was younger. I figured it was just spam mail trying to get people to go to their website or something like that. But then I remembered that there was no URL or link to anything, only those 6 ominous words. I remember thinking that if it was some sort of marketing gimmick, that whoever was running that department was doing a terrible job. Just as I was finishing that thought, I heard my phone ding. It was another email from the same person. This time, all it said was, "Don't act any different or say anything. They will know." At this point, I began to feel a little creeped out. I still didn't know what the person was talking about, or if they even meant to send those cryptic messages to me. All I knew was that I was scared, replied back, "I think you have the wrong person. Please don't email me again." Foolishly. I thought that would resolve the issue. It didn't. About 5 minutes later, I received another email with my full name, date of birth, and apartment number. At first, I thought that perhaps this was a cruel prank some friends of mine were playing on me. But even they wouldn't take this joke so far. Finally, I decided that enough was enough. I wasn't going to let some random person get under my skin like this. So I blocked the sender's email address. Surely, I thought that would put a stop to all of this nonsense. But once again, I was wrong. I received another email from a different account. Same thing as before. No subject and no name. Just another foreboding message. "Whatever you do, don't look outside." As soon as I read the last word, I heard a loud pop outside of my apartment, just as my power went out. I thought the sound may have been just a generator or something, but then a blinding blue light began pulsating outside. As curious as I was about the source of the light and noise, I couldn't stop thinking about the last email. "Whatever you do, don't look outside." Could this really be that great of coincidence, or did that person sending me these emails know something that I didn't? Either way, I was too afraid to look outside. The pulsating lights began to scan up and down my apartment building. I instinctually ducked under my window, afraid that whatever that light was might reveal my location. Then the light just disappeared. At that moment, the power came back on, so I stood up and slowly drew back my curtain. Nothing looked abnormal. The parking lot was still and quiet as it is on most nights. I saw a man nonchalantly walking his dog as if nothing ever happened. I felt silly for getting so worked up and scared over nothing. Then my phone ringed. Again. This time all it said was, "I told you not to look outside. Now they know." At this point, I knew that someone had to be watching me. There was no other way to explain how they knew that I had disobeyed their previous message. I looked outside my window again and saw the same man, except with his dog. And except they weren't walking anymore. They were standing still and looking straight up at my apartment, both with their mouths agape. I quickly closed my curtain and grabbed my phone. This was all too much for me without thinking. I dialed 911 and waited several minutes before an operator answered. 911, what is your emergency? I immediately began to try and explain every strange thing that had been going on for the last hour or so. From the emails and the strange blue light to the man and his dog. I suddenly realized that I sounded like a schizophrenic with all my incoherent rambling. I had just begun to slow down and apologized to the operator when a piercing, high-pitched sound took over the call. The sound was so intense that I couldn't even lead the phone up to my ear. Just as I ended the call, another email popped up. "There's no hope in resisting now," it read. "You're just another one we've lost." I grabbed the duffel bag and began stuffing it with as many clothes and other items that it could hold. There was no way that I was going to stay holed up in my apartment for a second longer. I preferred to stay a few nights in a hotel, or even in my car, if necessary, until I had something more concrete figured out. I swung my front door open to find dozens of people surrounding the man and his dog, all of them staring right at me, mouths agape. I heard the same piercing noise as before, and it occurred to me that the sound was actually emitting from their open mouths. I started to make a run for my car, when they all instantly threw their arms up, pointing at me while slowly walking in my direction. There were too many of them, and my car was too far away. I sprinted back to my apartment and boarded up all the doors and windows. It's been 3 days now. I still haven't left my apartment, and every time I try to call someone, I'm bombarded with the same high-pitched tone. I'm at a loss for what I can do at this point. Giving up and submitting to them is the last thing that I want to do, but it's starting to seem like the only option now. I'm not sure how much longer I have before they break me, but there's still hope for you. Whatever you do, don't look outside.